Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, trend update. Dead Sea resurrects to life, August 2016. So what I have here is a map of the Dead Sea here in the center. I'm just going to leave this map up as I go over the scripture references and some of the information that's contained in those references. Genesis 13 verse 10, Lot lifted up his eyes and saw all the valley of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go to Zoar. So the Dead Sea is believed to be the home of Sodom and Gomorrah. And so I'm going to point down here to the southern tip of the Dead Sea and just follow the cursor. The southeastern tip of the Dead Sea is believed to be the location. And so in the past, it was not a barren desert and wasteland as it is today. This area was compared to the Garden of Eden in Genesis 13. And the Hebrew grammar makes the point the area was well watered everywhere. Now, destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is estimated to be around 2000 BC with God's judgment. So this area has been literally dead for approximately 4,000 years. And if you're curious about details regarding the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, check out Genesis 19 for details. A second scripture reference would be Ezekiel 47 verses 8 through 10. And he said to me, this water flows toward the eastern region and goes down into the Arabah and enters the sea. When the water flows into the sea, the water will become fresh. And wherever the river goes, every living creature that swarms will live, and there will be many fish. For this water goes there, that the waters of the sea may become fresh, so everything will live where the river goes. Fishermen will stand beside the sea. From En-gedi to En-eglaim, it will be a place for the spreading of nets. Its fish will be of very many kinds, like the fish of the great sea. And so the context and location of these verses in Ezekiel is the promised future temple in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is located straight west of the northern tip of the Dead Sea. And the water is flowing from beneath the temple, the future temple, in Jerusalem during the reign of the Messiah, which I believe to be Jesus. And so this is another scripture example of a future temple, where a future temple is promised in Jerusalem. And the water will flow from Jerusalem to the east. It has to go to the Dead Sea. Now currently in 2016, there's no river from Jerusalem to the Dead Sea. Now the Jordan River, north of the Dead Sea, is the only water source to the Dead Sea. And the reason there's so much salt and mineral activity is because there's nowhere for the water to go. They've trapped all the water and all the sediment and salt and minerals build up. So, looking at the looking at the Ezekiel 47 verses, these verses are stating the water of the Dead Sea is so incapable of life, it's beyond sick. And in today's world, in late summer 2016, the Dead Sea is 10 times saltier than the oceans. But life-giving water from Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to the east, will heal and resurrect the Dead Sea. So there are two towns mentioned in these verses. En-gedi here is about at the midpoint on the western shore of the Dead Sea. And En-eglaim is believed to be on the northern tip of the Dead Sea, where the Jordan River spills into the sea. Now this scripture reference in Ezekiel refers to an area from En-eglaim to En-gedi, where fishermen are going to put their nets down to capture fish. Now this area, from En-gedi to En-eglaim is about 25 miles. And another interesting thing is this is the only place where this town on the northern shore of the Dead Sea is mentioned in Eglaim. It's the only reference in the Bible. But the point is that there will be ridiculous amounts of fish to be caught by fishermen on the shores, spanning about 20 to 25 miles. And it will be as diverse as the Great Sea. Well, that's in reference to the Mediterranean Sea off to the west. You can see this out here on the west side of the map. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you can check out BibleHub.com. Again, links will be provided for these types of things. Now, where this gets real fun and interesting is we fast forward to 2011. And divers from Ben Gurion University went to the bottom of the Dead Sea, and there were craters down there about 15 to 20 meters in size, and noted coming out of these craters was fresh water. And microorganisms were observed to coat the craters. So there were signs of life noted at the bottom of the Dead Sea, and this was about 5 years ago. Now, in the summer of 2016, and this was recently from a story from BreakingIsraelNews.com, there are two stories. A young lady who was born in America, lives in Jerusalem, goes to the Dead Sea, and she made an observation that there are freshwater ponds around the shores of the Dead Sea. And as what's happened, all the waters evaporated and created a bunch of sinkholes. Well, in these sinkholes, freshwater ponds have showed up, and fish are now reported in these little ponds around the Dead Sea. Green vegetation is beginning to sprout, and ducks are moving back into the area. And so literally this place has been dead, hence the name Dead Sea, has been dead for close to roughly 4,000 years. And now we're getting signs of life as prophetically promised in Scripture. And it's noted in Ezekiel 47 verses 8 through 10. And then also there's another promise in Zechariah 14 verse 8. And this is the culmination, this is the defining event that allows the waters to flow from Jerusalem down to the Dead Sea. So there will be a river created with this event. And in that day, living waters will flow out of Jerusalem. Half of them toward the eastern sea, which would be the Dead Sea, and the other half toward the western sea. So there will even be a river going from Jerusalem down to the Mediterranean Sea. It will be in summer as well as in winter. So it will be a continuous thing where water flows regardless of the season. I mean, that's going to happen. And the context of this verse is when the Messiah stands on the Mount of Olives. And the culmination of this is a great earthquake that splits the Mount of Olives in two, leaving a huge valley and leaving water to flow west to the Mediterranean Sea and east to the Dead Sea. And it appears this process is beginning to take place. The Dead Sea is resurrecting back to life. Now, let's keep this in its context. Ezekiel wrote this stuff 700 years before Christ. So this is a 27-year-old prophecy. And we're starting to see this process begin in our lifetime. Now, the Dead Sea has been just that for 4,000 years. It's been dead. So do what you want with this information, but it does make you wonder how much longer before somebody drops out of the sky and returns to planet Earth. If you're interested in this topic, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com. Keyword trend update, Dead Sea, resurrection. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.